a less costly 401k type option for your small business. Hey everyone, Adam Bergman here, tax attorney and founder of IRA Financial. And on today's AdBits, I'm going to be chatting about the Simple IRA. And yeah, it actually may be a less costly solution for your small business to offer 401k type benefits to your employees. So before I get going, I'm going to start on my new format, just give you a summary of today's podcast in under a minute, 30, 40 seconds. Make sure this interests you. Hopefully you keep listening or watching on YouTube. If not, hey, I get it. You got stuff going on in your day. No worries. You check back next week for the next episode, but just want to respect everyone's time and make sure that the podcast offers you the info you desire. So a simple IRA is a poor man's 401k. You can put it away in 2023, $15,500 and then a $3,500 catch up if you're over 50. Yes, that is less than the 401k of 22.5 or 30k if you're over 50. But the advantage is with a simple IRA, the IRA administrator, i.e., IRA Financial Trust, handles all your IRS reporting. Whereas a 401k, you as the trustee and plan administrator have the ability and the requirement to hire a plan administrator / third-party record keeper, TPA, to handle your record keeping for your plan, which is obviously a cost. So that is the main advantage over the simple IRA. It's easier to set up, less costly, and you can do alternative asset investments for each specific employee because each specific employee will have their own simple account. Now, on to the podcast. So, as I mentioned, the simple IRA is an underrated type of IRA. It's probably the least popular IRA after the traditional IRA, Roth, SEP, and then good old simple IRA. It's a poor man's type 401k. Why? Number one, for 2023, you can put only $15,500. There's only a $3,500 catch up if you're over 50 years old. And I'm just going to do some comparisons with a 401k. With a 401k, it's 22.5 or 30k if you're over 50. So you have a much bigger catch up if you're over 50. The 401k is a loan feature. With a simple IRA, there's no loan feature. However, now with a simple IRA, thanks to Secure Act 2.0, you can actually make Roth contributions. You could not before 2023. With a 401k, you also could do Roth contributions as an employee deferral. If you use a safe harbor 401k, which most small businesses do, the simple IRA is quite similar. It also has a 3% matching contribution option. But one nice thing it has is it has a 2 out of 5 year rule, meaning for 2 out of the 5 years, you can go below 3%. It also has what's called a 2% non-elective. So you can also just give everyone 2% instead of matching people who put in 3% at a 3% clip. So a little bit more flexibility than a 401k. There's no loan feature in a simple IRA. With a 401k. You can borrow $50,000 or 50% of your account value. Currently, October 2023, it's about 8.5% prime interest rate. But the interest and principal you're paying yourself back instead of a bank. So there is some value. Essentially, that loan's giving you an 8.5% rate of return on your funds. And you get tax-free, penalty-free use of the money. So it's a pretty cool option. From a self-directed standpoint, both a 401k and a simple IRA could do alternative assets. The nice thing with the simple is that each employee has their own simple account that they control. So you as the owner of the business don't have responsibility and the fiduciary responsibility to manage each employee's simple. So if you just want to do stocks, but your employee X wants to do real estate, employee Y wants to do cryptos, employee Z wants to do stocks, you can let each employee do what they need to do. Okay, so you have less fiduciary responsibility, less of oversight, commitments, potential liability, much cleaner. The biggest advantage, I think, of the simple IRA over the 401k is the fact that you as the business owner don't have to do anything. The company that sets up the simple IRA, whether it's Vanguard, Fidelity, or IRA Financial, we will file the IRS paperwork, the 5498, 1099s. We handle all the record keeping, all the plan account info. You do nothing. With a 401k, you have to hire a third party, also known as a TPA, a third-party administrator, it's going to cost you anywhere from $1,000 to $4,000, depending on how many employees you have. So that's a cost that you will save with the Simple IRA. You also get the flexibility to have each employee kind of control their own account. So you don't have to deal with investment advisors and worrying about offering the right investments and fees, because each employee is kind of responsible for their own Simple. In fact, you can have employees open Simple at different institutions if you wish. So it's a lot easier as a business owner to operate. The major downside and why the Simple is not as popular as the 401k is simple. You can put away less money. Most business owners want to max out. Okay, that's why they offer a 401k, selfishly, right? Yes, I'm sure most business owners do love their employees and want to give them the opportunity to save for retirement. But I can promise you, if they weren't interested in saving themselves, most would not offer a 401k. So in 2023, as I mentioned, you can put away $22,500 if you're under 50, $30K if you're over 50, pre-tax or Roth. The Simple's less. It's $15,500 and there's a $3,500 catch-up, so $19,000 if you're over 50. And that's considerably less than $30,000 if you're over 50 in a 401k. So I get it. For some owners, some executives, maxing out is paramount. And that's the primary impetus behind setting up the 401k. So if you can put away less than a Simple, even though it may be more flexible and easier to operate and less costly, hey, I don't really care because the company's paying for all those costs and I'm not able to max out and put as much money into my retirement plan as I would with a 401k. So that is the major downside. Now, for some business owners, they may say, you know what, 15,500 or 19K, it's going to go hop in 24. Same with the 401k. That's okay. You know, you're talking about maybe 6,500 less if you're under 50, and if you're over 50, but 11,000 less. Like, I wasn't going to max out anyways. It's fine. So I think there's a bigger chunk of American small business community that instead of being scared off by the 401k because of the costs involved, may want to look to the Simple IRA. It's super easy to administer. The IRA custodian does all the hard lifting. You can open an account pretty simply, inexpensively. You can offer your employees the ability to do traditional and alternative assets. Less of a burden on the business owner. Yes, there's smaller contribution limits, no loan feature, but there now is also a pre-tax and Roth option. If you want to do the safe harbor in the 401k, that's generally a 3%. Here you can do a 2% match, non-elective, meaning everyone gets a 2%, or you can do the 3% elective, meaning if someone puts in 3, you match up to 3. But you also have that 2 out of 5 year limit where you can reduce the 3% 2 out of the 5 years. Basically, any employees that earn at least $5,000 during any 2-year period is eligible. So the eligibility pool is large. You can exclude people if they're unionized or they're non-resident aliens. But for most small businesses, you know, people make more than 5K. Probably most of your employees, you're going to have to expect to offer them benefits. But whether you do the 2% automatic contribution, meaning if someone makes 50K, you give them $1,000 tax deductible contribution for the business, or you can do 3% if they put in 3%. And reduce that 2 out of the 5 years. So that is another cost that a Simple employer would have, but that is actually a cost that's actually less than you would have if you did a safe harbor 401k. But I think when you add it all up, the fact that the costs are much cheaper, the administration is easier, it's more flexible if you want to do alts. You just need to compare and contrast that versus not being able to put as much into the Simple as you would with the 401k. If you're all about maxing out your contributions, then you're probably going to want to go with the solo 401k or the 401k plan. Well, I shouldn't say solo because I'm talking about employees. So the 401k plan, if you're not as concerned about maxing out and you don't really care about the loan, then I think the Simple is a really good option. It's going to save you money, give you flexibility, make your life a little bit easier so you can focus on your business. Otherwise, that's it. That's a wrap. I hope you guys enjoyed today's AdBits. Simple IRAs, they don't get a lot of love, but it's actually a pretty good retirement plan. I think there's a larger segment of the business, small business world that can use it in the United States. I just don't think people know about it. They know about SEPs, they know about 401ks, and simples just don't get a lot of love. So that's what I try to do. Try to share the love here and educate people and say, hey, there's maybe another option that may be right for your small business and maybe less costly, less burdensome, and more flexible for your small business. And that is the Simple IRA. So thanks again for hanging out with me today. Hope you guys enjoyed the podcast. Hope you like my little summary format in the beginning. Getting some good feedback on that. So hopefully you're digging it. Otherwise, don't forget to subscribe. If you enjoy the podcast, really appreciate it if you give it a like. Otherwise, I hope to see everyone again next week. Ciao, and have an amazing rest of your day. Thank you.